The first thing you want to practice is making lines. So at this point, you are adjusting the amount of henna paste that comes out of the cone by squeezing the cone just a tiny bit. And then your goal is to make a straight line that is continuous. If it breaks, if it separates, it's okay, you can go over it. But right now we're just practicing, so your goal is to make one continuous line. I'm gonna speed up the video here in a little bit, but you're gonna just keep practicing making those lines. You have thin lines, and then I'm gonna show you how to make thick lines, which for thick lines, you're basically just going a little slower so you can squeeze it out a little bit more, and that way you're getting a little bit more henna paste when you make your lines. But you still want them to be continuous and smooth. All right, once you have lines down, you can practice dots. Dots are pretty easy depending on the henna paste that you get. Really the tricky part is lifting up the cone, the end of the cone, so that you don't get a long, like sticky peak that kind of falls over. So you want to make sure that you're making your dots nice and neat, and you can practice making them bigger and bigger. The next thing is making scallops. So for scallops, you have to have a baseline, and then you're just going to practice going up and down, and your goal here is to make all of the scallops pretty equal, like the same height, the same width, just kind of make them equal. Practice a few of those. I'm speeding up the video here a little bit, but you're practicing trying to get the consistency of the scallop. Once you have the scallop, you can start making these little teardrops or little drops. These are a dot, and then you take the end of the henna cone and you kind of pull it down. So you take the regular dot that we made and pull it down. And you're gonna get the idea of these. It's gonna kind of look like little teardrops. Again, the tricky part is letting go of it. You'll see some of the peaks that kind of stick out, but with practice, you'll get it better. Next, we're gonna practice some different kind of leaves. So a lot of henna designs have flowers and leaves and vines and things. So you should practice different kinds of leaves, so that you can just see which one works best for you and which one works best depending on the design. I sped this video up to twice the speed, so just take your time, find one leaf that you like and just do that one over and over again. You're not going to be perfect at henna the first time. It takes a lot of practice. Next we have the vines. So there are a couple of ways that you can make vines. The easiest way that I have found is just to make little spirals, just like little loose spirals, and one goes one way and one goes the other. But if you want something a little more controlled, you can start with a wavy line, and then in each of those little waves you can make your spiral. So you already have the basic vine, and then you're just adding the spirals to it. Now we're going to do some circles. Circles are great actually for just practicing. Just go over and over and over with circles, because it gives you a good feel for the henna and how it's coming out of the cone, how much pressure to apply, etc. Once you have circles down, you can start doing spirals. I like to start with a big circle and then just go from the spiral from there. Next, we're doing hearts. So hearts are very common in henna designs that are more, not traditional, just like common playful things. But then there's different sizes and shapes of hearts. Another really fun one is this little ladybug. It incorporates all the elements we already learned how to do. This is one that I love to do. People love this one. It starts off like you don't even know what's going on, but then at the end it's so cute. So it's 3 little balls at the bottom and then little ovals for the little toes. Butterflies are another very common element that we can do. This one is going to the side, so it's like a profile of a butterfly, so you only have to do one side. The good thing about this one is you don't have to worry about symmetry. And here I'm showing you, this is a technique for shading. I'm not actually squeezing any henna out. I'm just spreading the one that's already there, kind of wispy. When it dries, it's just going to look like shading, and you can always add dots just for embellishments. I'm going to do a second butterfly. This one is with symmetry, and the main thing about symmetry is you want to start with your least dominant side. So I'm right-handed. I can very easily do the right side. I struggle with the left side a little bit. So start with the left side. I start with the left side because I can easily match it with my right side. If I had started with the right side, it would be very hard to match it with the left side. So that's just a very common trick for anything that has symmetry. Here I'm adding some details. You'll notice in the, if you have the design sheet, the bottom two have two little lines, but in this particular design it didn't fit. So always just kind of, it doesn't have to match exactly what you see in the design. You can always just kind of play around. And this is another very common one. People really like this one, and you can do it on your arm. You can also do the hearts on the hand and then have one tendril coming down and one tendril coming up. So people really like that, like up on their wrists and their fingers. So you can add your little spirals just like we learned how to do. And I like to also add dots. So pretend like this one's coming down one of your fingers, and I would add some little dots all the way to the tip of the finger and then add the dots over on the wrist side.